Living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where your next client is going to come from, all while you travel the world with your laptop. Living the dream, right? Haha, wrong. You may not want to be raking in tens of thousands of dollars every month. That might not be your goal, but we definitely don't want to just break even, right? So how do we make sure that we always have enough cash on hand to manage everything that is going on in your business while also paying yourself and paying down your credit card and saving money for the business? How do we do that? Protecting your cash flow. And I am going to be talking all about the 5 cash draining mistakes that you are probably making in your business right now. So pencils up, this is gonna be good. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1, your clients aren't paying on time. How stressful is it when you know that you can't pay your team members until someone pays you? You're waiting around and Dubsado shows you that that email that you sent with the invoice to your client hasn't even been read. Here's what you gotta do. First, make sure that your contract is up to date with the terms of your payment plan for your clients. And then make sure your processes reflect that. So if your contract says that your people need to pay in 7 days upon receiving that invoice, and if they don't, there's a late fee, make sure that you have processes in place that are emailing them with your invoice and when they need to pay before the late fee kicks in. Also reminders, send reminders too. I made a video called How to Do Your Bookkeeping in 30 Minutes or Less, and one of the things that you can add to that Friday checklist is sending out invoices, making sure that they're being sent out, reminders are being sent out, and that you are getting paid. All right, number 2 is you have credit card debt that you're paying down. So I am all for paying off your credit card debt to make sure that we don't have large, unnecessary interest expense payments that we're making. However, if you are on an aggressive debt payoff plan, it might be time to reevaluate what percentage that you are sending to your credit card to pay it off. If you're able to still make a dent in your credit card debt while also still giving yourself cushion in the business, that is the sweet spot. You could also start using your debit card versus your credit card so that you're not constantly building up your credit card debt where you know you have the cash with your debit card. I'll also talk about this in a second, but you really do need to reevaluate your expenses to make sure that you're not constantly racking up your credit card debt. Number 3, you are paying too much in quarterly estimated tax payments. Some of y'all are scared to death of the IRS and you knowingly overpay to make sure that you don't go to jail. Newsflash. You will not go to jail unless you do something illegal. Work with a CPA to determine exactly what you need to be paying so that you're not overpaying out of fear. A CPA is going to take so much more than just your business finances into consideration. Things like buying a house, moving across the country, having a baby, if you have a partner that you file a joint tax return with, how much money did they make? Did they send in quarterly estimated tax payments, or are they on a payroll tax system with a W-2 job? So many people don't realize the difference between a bookkeeper and a CPA, so I made an entire video about how a bookkeeper and CPA work together to make sure that you pay less taxes overall. All right, number 4, your expenses are too high. You should be constantly reviewing your expenses. What are you paying on a recurring basis? Do you have software subscriptions that you're paying for and you don't use? And can you take any of those software subscriptions and change them to an annual basis versus a monthly basis? Although when you do that, your cash flow will take a hit up front when you pay for something on an annual basis, but overall you will be saving cash. Another thing is to review your team members. This is so sensitive, so I want you to hear me when I say that these are humans and they should be treated accordingly. If you're able to end an agreement with a contractor for work that you could be doing yourself to save some money, then you could consider that. If you are able to dismiss an underperforming employee, maybe consider that. If you are able to consolidate roles and responsibilities from 3 to 5 people to 1 to 2 people, while also giving raises accordingly, you could maybe consider that. And while you're considering all of this, please remember that this is not just like cutting a software subscription. You have to make sure that you are legally protecting these people with their employment. You are giving them the benefit of the doubt, assuming positive intent when it comes to the level of their work. Try to do all that you can to keep the necessary team members while also just treating them with a high level of respect. And another thing when it comes to expenses, I want to talk about shiny object syndrome. If you are someone who loves to spend money, whether that is on fall candles, way too many books at Barnes & Noble that you are never going to read, or just the next course or program that your business influencer has been talking about that they just launched, it might be time for you to go on a spending freeze. No more spending until everything that is currently going on in your business is optimized, systemized, and automated. Then take the next investment steps only when necessary, only when you need to spend that money. That one's gonna ruffle some feathers. It ruffles mine, okay? Okay, number 5. You are using your P&L when you should be looking at a cash summary. People are like, what? What the heck is a cash summary? Hear me out. P&Ls are lovely and very important, and it is usually the first report that people go to when they think of looking at their business finances. Before I go on, pause this video, let me know in the comments if you have ever heard of a cash summary, or if I get to be the one to introduce you to its wonderful little self. P&Ls do not include credit card payments, owner's draws, and payments to the IRS. Why? Because of GAAP, we have to actually categorize these as a reduction in equity, not an expense, which means they will just never show up on your profit and loss. But a cash summary is something that shows all of it. All of your money in, all of your money spent, and your owner's draws out, your tax payments out, and your credit card payments out, which shows you exactly what you're left over with cash-wise. Literal chef's kiss. I actually use the cash summary the most in my business. I pull it all the time. I really like to look at my P&L when I'm just looking at like month over month, but really the cash summary is where my heart just lives. Okay, holy moly, I love talking about cash flow. Clearly, if you can't see it by the grin all over my face, but really these truly are just simple changes that you can be making in your business to give you more cash flow. Imagine you, a year from now, having made these changes, realizing that you have enough cash to support everything going on in your business, enough to pay yourself for what you need for your house, for your lifestyle, you're paying off your credit card debt regularly, and you're even supporting team members with a fair pay, and you're leaving a little bit of money in the business for savings if you ever want to buy something new, invest in something new, take time off. Oh my gosh, shocker. Can we actually do that in entrepreneurship? Yes, with these types of changes to protect our cash flow. And that is all worth putting some time on your calendar as a date with yourself to make these changes. Make sure to come back to this video and comment if you made any of these changes so I can celebrate with you. See you next time.